Talk about what is the topic? Theatricality in performance, in dance, in what something, whatever. Yeah. Well, my background is making performances mostly in the context of dance, and I was calling myself a choreographer for many years because in the beginning of my 20s I had kind of identity crisis. I didn't know how to call myself because I loved theater, I loved music, I loved this, I loved moving, I loved exploring my body. So I had different preferences. But once I was like, I need to decide what I am and how do I call myself. So I decided to call myself a choreographer, and I was watching everything and doing everything through the perspective of choreography. And even if I was subverting the notion and the idea of what a choreography and what is choreographer, it was always to the perspective of choreography. But theatricality, so I do have my background is more from a theater, but from a very kind of experimental theater, because I was in a kind of experimental theater school when I was in my teenage years, where I was taught somehow, or I learned that I have to keep equal respect to all the means of expression. So I kind of took it a bit maybe too serious. So for many years it was really important to me to kind of respect equally my body, my voice, the text. So there was no an element which is, especially in my solos, there was no an element which is like super dominating. The danger sometimes when you decide to have a kind of democratic balance between all the means of expression, so there is no one which is the most important. The danger there is, if you can call it a danger, you can come up with a very entertaining material or composition that has all kind of diverse elements inside and means of expression. In time and space, the exploration of physicality, body language, literature, voice, music, equally respected. So the result probably is very nice and diverse. But maybe there is a danger that you don't really go very deep in any of those waters, if I can call them waters. So I don't want to repeat means of expression all the time. Kind of spaces, worlds. So I had to force myself sometimes to reject and to skip some of those means and limit myself only with one. And I did this a few times in different ways. For example, there were a few years ago when I felt quite comfortable with text, and I said in next work I'm not gonna use text at all. I will just focus on the choreographic, the relation between the people on stage and the movements and probably the voice, but I'm not gonna use text. Or before that, I had those kind of solos like IQ or Lili Handel or Some Faves, where I equally respect everything. So every 1 minute I speak, I say some poetry, I say a monologue, then I sing a song, then I move a little bit, then I sing a song. So it was kind of very diverse, very interesting, very entertaining. I had a lot of pleasure doing it as a performer, because like I'm using all my skills and all my vocabularies at full, but I thought it becomes too easy somehow. It becomes too easy, and then I decided to write a theater play. And I forbid myself to sing in this because it's very easy for me to sing, so I always start singing. When I don't know what to do in the piece, when I'm rehearsing, when I don't know what to do a particular text, for example, a particular scene, I just make a song. I just make up a song and then I have something, and it always works. So I decided that probably for many years I had this dream that I find my professional relationships with programmers or with venues and theaters. I found all those relationships that I'm kind of exploring all the time and I'm entering and experiencing, they are all the same. So the things I say to all the programmers I meet, because I don't have a manager, so I have to manage myself. So when festivals or programmers, they write to me, I have to do the whole thing. I have to negotiate with them. I have to do the whole logistics about tickets and technical details. So I have to do this, and I have no problem doing it. But I've noticed that for many, that there is a particular, that is kind of it's like a play that we always, it's like a dialogue or text or words and even sentences that we always use in this professional communication. So there is, it's kind of I felt that my communication with those people is imprisoned in a very particular kind of mutually respected language and choice of language and manner of communication. So everything is very professional, very kind, and it has its own rules. And it's kind of a play that you always play, you know. It's like a already dramaturgy that you always enter, and everybody's happy with it because we both have this interest, everything to go well. And I was like, the only way I can subvert this relationship is because it's very kind of, we kind of play our roles now. When I enter this professional communication, I enter a very specific professional role, and I know that the programmer is doing the same, and I know the technical director in the theater is doing the same, and then I know that the journalist who is asking me questions or the critic who is gonna probably have a conversation, like an after talk after that, is also kind of, we all play our roles, and these roles are very stable. And I thought maybe it would be interesting if I can use this and subvert it, but I cannot subvert it in my real life, in my real communication, and in the real relationship with the programmers, because I don't want to fuck up my relationships with the programmers. So I thought the only way I can do that is by in a fiction. So I decided to fictionalize my professional relationship. So I decided to write a play called Fest, which tells the story of how I am invited to a fictional festival, not existing festival, in Copenhagen, and I meet this woman, and we start negotiating about my solo Some Faves, and then after we have agreement, I go to the theater, and then I meet the technical director, and then we start the whole thing. So it's all involved, and then I do my solo, and then there is a critic, then we after talk with the critic. So I decided to use all these roles, but I kind of subvert them and show and deconstruct this relationship and see what is under the nice talk, under what we already know, under what we already say, under what we always say to each other. Is there something behind? And then I allowed in the play, I wrote the play, and I allowed in the play to say or to ask or to allow things to happen that probably have been somewhere in my mind, in my real life, in my real communications. And then I wrote the play, and it's a short play that I would like to read for you. Do you mind? And then we can keep talking about, because I think it's good to talk about the work or my perspective to the work, but have like a clear example. So I'm gonna read this play. The first act is me meeting with the programmer. This book came out 2 years ago. This copy is a bit fucked up because it's very heavy. And it's called Stage Works 2000-2006, and it's all the works I have done for stage in the last more or less 15 years. It took me 1 year to make it. I brought only 3 copies because it's very heavy. It's 3.5 kilos. So I brought only 3 copies. Okay. One I gave to the organization that is inviting me here to teach. One I gave to another organization which invited me to perform in next year. Новое пространство. And I have this copy which is fucked up, which I don't know to whom I will give yet. Let's see who deserves it the most. The premiere of the fest was in Pustanz in Vienna in 2000. I don't know which year it was. 2013. The programmer enters the stage and sits on one chair. Ivo enters, so I enter. I will say Ivo. Okay. Ivo enters. The programmer. Hello, my name is Hilda Kurtens. Ivo. Hello, I'm Ivo. Nice to meet you. Programmer. I'm a festival director from Copenhagen. I have seen your work and I really appreciate it. I would like to present it in our next festival. What do you think? Ivo. I have never performed in Denmark. I have to think first. Talking to himself. I have performed several times in each European country, but never in Denmark. And now, suddenly they decided to invite me. That's strange, isn't it? I'm a bit suspicious. Let's see what they really want. I'm not sure I can trust this woman. To the programmer. Why do you think it's good for me to present my work in Copenhagen? The programmer. Your work is provocative and intense. I think you have a very big range of audience, and many people in Copenhagen would be interested to see you. Ivo. So you think that my work is very commercial? The programmer. No, I think that it's interesting for a lot of people. Ivo. Well, it means the same. Anyway, I just want to be sure that I want to make it clear that I'm not interested in all kinds of audience. The programmer. Okay, what kind of audience you are interested in? Ivo. I'm interested in having a lot of gay people and a lot of bisexual people in the audience. Can you guarantee that? Silence. Can you guarantee that? Silence. Give me an answer, you strange woman. The programmer. Yes, I can guarantee that. Now, do you mind if we talk more about practical details? Ivo. Like what? The programmer. Let's talk about money. Ivo. I'm not interested to talk about money now. The programmer. So, you would like to present your work for free? Ivo. I didn't say that. The programmer. Or, okay, can you just simply tell me how much your solo Some Faves costs? Ivo. I'm not sure I want to present Some Faves in Denmark. Some Faves it's for a very particular kinds of audience. Programmer. This conversation is getting a bit annoying. Tell me the price. Ivo. Can I ask you a simple question? Programmer. Yes. Ivo. Can I see your vagina? Pause. Programmer. Of course. Ivo. Really? Programmer. Why do you think it should be a problem for me? Ivo. You never know. Programmer. Do you want to see it now or later? Ivo. I prefer to see it now. Programmer. Okay. Stands, pulls down her underwear, pulls up her dress, sits on the chair with her legs apart, and shows to Ivo her vagina. Here it is. Ivo walks forward, kneels in front of the programmer. Programmer, come closer. You cannot see anything from there. Ivo moves forward between Hilda's legs. Ivo. It reminds me of something I have seen many times. It looks deep and cold in a way. Is that how it feels? Programmer. No, not at all. But do you like it? Ivo. It does make me want to taste it. May I taste it? Programmer. Yes, you can. But with the only condition that after that we talk more about practical things. Ivo. Of course. Ivo leans forward and starts licking Hilda's vaginas for 1 minute, 2 minutes. Ivo. Nice. It makes me curious how it feels deeper inside. May I insert my finger? Or it's too much? Programmer. No, it's fine. Ivo slowly puts his finger in the vagina of Hilda Kurtens. Ivo. It feels like there is more space there. Can I put a second finger? Programmer. Well, you can try. Ivo put his second finger. The programmer. It feels nice. Ivo. Can I put a third finger? Programmer. Yes, you can. Ivo. Can I move my fingers? Programmer. Go ahead. Ivo starts moving his fingers. The programmer breathes heavily. Ivo. Can I put more fingers? Programmer. No. 3 fingers is enough. Ivo. Then it's 3,000. Programmer. 3,000 what? Ivo. 3,000 euros for Some Faves, plus travel and accommodation. Hilda stands, pulls up underwear, and sits. Is that how you define the price for each festival? Ivo. Sometimes. Programmer. Interesting. Ivo. Do you like it? Programmer. Yes, it's simple and fun. I like it. Ivo. It's not always fun. It can be difficult with the male heterosexual programmers, especially if they are interested in a group piece. Programmer. How do they handle that? The fingers. Ivo. Very often they don't handle it. They just die during the negotiations because they lose too much blood. But if I really like the programmer, or if I really want to show my work at that festival, we use as a price definer the vagina or the anus of someone from their administration. Or we use my own ass. In fact, we use my own ass very often. But we cannot go very high with the price. Why not? Because I'm very fragile. The programmer. Interesting. Anyway, what about 3 shows? What is the price of 3 shows of Some Faves? Ivo. Let me think. Looks around. Heal the curtains. Do you have children? Programmer. Dimchev. What is the price of 3 shows? Ivo. This is so depressing. Programmer. What exactly is so depressing? Ivo. That you don't take me seriously. Ivo. Then how many children do you have? Programmer. I have 2 beautiful children, a girl and a boy. Is that something to do with the price? Ivo. Can you give me one of your children for a while? Programmer. What are you going to do with my child? Ivo. I will talk to your child. We'll become friends. And I will ask your child a lot of questions. I don't know about what. Maybe about the future. Kids usually know more about the future. And if I know more about it, I'll be less afraid of the future. That's why I want to talk to your child. Programmer. I'm not sure that I can give you any of my children for any time. First, Ivo, I don't trust you. And second, my husband will never allow that. And I do respect my husband's opinion. Ivo, then give me your husband. Programmer, for what? Ivo, to play with him, like children. For hours and hours in my backyard. Programmer. To her, talking to herself. Why Dimchev is such a freak? Why does he want my husband? What if I cancel the invitation? Or maybe it's worth trying. He's considered as a radical performer. If I invite him, shall I be considered as a radical programmer or also as a freak? I can somehow identify with both, so maybe I should not worry at all. Ivo, tell me how much 3 shows of Some Faves cost. Ivo, I never do 3 shows in a row. Programmer, why not? Ivo, because I'm fragile. Programmer, I thought only ass is fragile. Anyway, how much, Ivo? Can you do 2 shows for 5,000 plus travel and accommodation? Ivo walks forward. Yes. It was really nice talking to you. Heal the curtains from Copenhagen. The programmer. My pleasure, Ivo. Looking forward to presenting you at my festival. Hilda exits the stage. Next scene. On stage, Ivo, Ryan, the technical director of the festival, and Hilda curtains. Ivo. Hello, I'm Ivo. Who are you? Ryan steps forward, kisses Ivo on both cheeks. Hello, my name is Ryan. I am the technician of this theater. Ivo, great. I'm sorry that I'm arriving so late. My flight was delayed. Do you think we can have enough time for a technical rehearsal? The technician, don't worry. We have a lot of experience here. Ivo, may I ask you a personal question, Ryan? Technician, yes, go on. Ivo, are you gay? Technician, no, I'm not gay. Ivo, if you are not gay, does it mean that you don't believe in God? Technician, no, I don't believe in God. Ivo, do you believe in theater? Technician, yes, I do. Ivo, without God and the gays, theater is not possible, Ryan. Technician, in Denmark it is. Ivo, to Hilda. Hilda, can I have another technician? Programmer, I'm sorry, Ivo. We don't have another technician. You both have to find a common language. Programmer, Ryan, tell him the truth. Technician, listen, I'm gay, and I'm very submissive, and I will not start working if you don't humiliate me first. Ivo turns to Hilda. What's going on here? Programmer. Humiliate him, otherwise he will not work. Ivo, seriously. Ivo turns to Ryan. What do I have to do? Technician. Tell me that I'm lonely and nobody loves me. Ivo, you are lonely and nobody loves you. Technician, tell me more. Ivo, you are insufficient and unprofessional. Technician, yes, tell me more. Ivo, your mother? No, I cannot tell you more. I cannot tell you more. I need to have a technical rehearsal. Ryan, technician, but I don't feel humiliated enough. Come on, make an effort. Humiliate me, do something more radical. Be cruel to me. Ivo, I'm gay, I don't like violence. Technician, violence can be very beautiful. Ivo, I would never use violence in my work. Technician, can you just piss in my mouth? Ivo, this is not serious. Why don't... This is not serious. Programmer, do what he wants. We need to respect his conditions. Ivo, why don't you fire him? Programmer, he's a good person and he has worked for this theater for 20 years. Ivo, doesn't matter. Fire him. This is not professional. Programmer, I cannot just fire him because he's submissive. If a theater technician in Denmark asks you to pee in his mouth, you have to pee. Ivo, I'm sorry, I cannot pee in public spaces. I have a castration complex. Technician, but this is not a public space. There is just the three of us. Programmer, I also have a castration complex. Ivo, no, you don't, Hilda. It's a male thing. You cannot have a castration complex. It should mean that you have also Oedipus complex as well. Programmer, of course I have an Oedipus complex. Why do you think I'm a good programmer? I have this childish guilt, which makes me self-destructive. But I cannot express it myself, so I recognize it in some performances such as yours, and that's why I program them. That's the only way I can express those horrible feelings. Ivo, Hilda, I'm not self-destructive. Programmer, don't worry, it's not a bad thing, and usually it's productive for the artists. Technician, come on Ivo, can you at least pinch my nipples? Ivo, okay, this sounds easier. Take off your shirt. I have no time. Which nipple? Both. Stronger. No, this is not stronger. Bite them. No, this is not biting. Stronger. Let me show you. Then the technician slaps Ivo on his breast. This is not... And Ivo says, this is not biting. Technician, doesn't matter, do the same to me. Ivo, like this, slaps the technician on his breast and his tits. Not like this. Let me show you. Stronger, stronger. Ivo says, enough. I'm sorry, Ryan, I cannot do this to you. Obviously you don't like your work and you're a little bit lazy. Ryan, I see you're a little bit lazy. You don't like your work. Technician, I'm real. Technician says, if I'm really honest, I often hate it. I often hate my work, especially when people like you arrive, people who think only about themselves and their work, and don't consider the fact that I'm first of all a human being, and then I'm a good technician. But I like the fact that shows cannot happen without my effort. Ivo, it's not true that I only think about myself. Hilda, how do you feel? Programmer, I'm tired. Ivo, why don't you rest? Why don't you lay on the floor? Ivo, and believe me, Ryan, believe me, everything is possible to happen without a technician, but it's just gonna be more expensive for the theater. Anyway, you look hot, which is the most important thing. I have talked with many artists who have been in this festival, and they all told me that they would have loved to suck your cock because they find you very attractive. Technician, good to know, but they could have asked me. Many famous artists did ask me, and I did not refuse to anyone. Ivo, and who were those brave and lucky ones? Technician, do you know who was the first who asked me directly if she could suck my cock? Ivo, who was it? Technician, the first one was Pina Bausch. Many years ago. 2 years later, Anna Teresa, the Kersmacher, asked me too. Forsyth asked me twice, because he has been 2 times here. Also Jerome Bell, Xavier Leroy, Max Stewart, Kazuo Ono, Tino Segал, and hundreds of others. Ivo, so if I ask you to suck your cock, you will let me do it, because I also find you very attractive. Technician, of course. The only thing you have to know is that I never wash my dick. Why? Technician, because it's more theatrical. Ivo, in which sense it's more theatrical? In which sense sucking a dirty cock is more theatrical than sucking a clean cock? Technician, there is a challenge. The artist has to overcome something, and I'm here to accommodate this challenge. Puts his trousers pants down. Do you also want to suck it? Ivo, yes, I always want to suck a technician's cock, so I would not miss this opportunity. Ivo goes to suck Ryan's cock. Wow, blocks his nose. It smells really strong. I'm not sure I can do it, but if all these important artists have gone through that, I have to do it as well. Technician, you can do it, it just looks difficult, but in fact it's quite simple. It's important to relax first. It's like performing, I guess. If you go on stage with fear, the danger of failing is much bigger. In the beginning of your sucking, you will sense the bitter taste of my dirty cock, but if you are relaxed enough, you will find the hidden sweetness in it. It's like in real life. If you concentrate and relax, you can find a hidden taste of sweetness, which can open the door of happiness and joy in the most painful moments of our lives. Ivo, I'm still not sure I can do it. Programmer, you want to be one of the lucky ones, don't you? Ivo, I consider myself lucky already. Programmer, you are lucky, but are you happy? Ivo, no, I'm not happy. Technician, you see? Then suck my beautiful cock, and maybe happiness will accompany your luckiness. Ivo, this is ridiculous. Ryan takes his head in his hands. Ivo starts to suck Ryan's cock. Programmer, to herself, turns forward the audience, walks forward, and says, artists are so predictable, aren't they? Sometimes I'm trying to convince myself that each of them is unique and deserves all of my efforts as a friend, programmer, and a producer. But in the end, I realize that all of them are greedy, egocentric, selfish copycats who believe that their banal human needs and actions have a special aesthetic, intellectual or even political value. Sometimes it's so sad and pathetic to just look at them. This one here is one of the worst examples. Ivo, are you enjoying the blowjob? Ivo stops the blowjob, turns to face to the audience, to Hilda. Yes, I enjoyed it. In the beginning, it was difficult because of the amount of dirty cheese I had to swallow, but now it's pretty fine. Programmer, why didn't you spit out the cheese? Ivo, because I don't like cheating or showing weakness. I thought it was part of the game. Did the other artists before me spit out the cheese? Technician, yes, all of them. You are the only one who swallowed it. Ivo, really? And what shall I do now? Technician, nothing, it's too late. But I think it makes you kind of special. Programmer, I also think it makes you special, and you still enjoyed it, didn't you, Ivo? Yes, I enjoyed it. How many times you gonna ask me this question? Are you jealous, Hilda? Programmer, no. Yes, I'm a bit jealous. Ryan, I always watch how famous artists are sucking your cock, and it always looks so relaxing and satisfying. Well, you barely know each other. I would like also to suck your cock, just a bit, for the sake of being part of this joy, and not always being the outsider. Technician. But Hilda, you are not an artist, and you are also somehow my director. Programmer. Nobody else will see it. It's just the three of us. Ivo. We have no time for that. We need to have a technical rehearsal. Programmer. Of course. Technician pulls up his pants, puts his t-shirt, and faces Ivo. Ivo. Okay. Where is the white wall for which I asked in my technical rider? Programmer. Ivo, you don't need the white wall. Ivo, what do you mean? Programmer, we don't have it. We found it this morning broken in small pieces. Ivo, I cannot perform without the white wall. Programmer, why don't you try? Ivo, the white floor together with the white floor together, they create this neutral contextual frame in which the mass of subjects I'm exploring in my show are not relating unnecessarily with random external contexts. They stay locked in the white frame without pretending to be real. Don't you understand? It's very important. Programmer, I don't understand, but you also have to understand. Ivo, I hate you. Programmer, we hate you too. Ivo, I hate Copenhagen. I hate Denmark. There's something rotten here. Anyway, probably the audience doesn't care at all if there is a white floor or not. This is going to be the worst performance of Some Faves ever. Ivo leaves the stage as well. Ivo comes back and makes part of his solo, which finishes with respect art, respect art, respect art. Olga enters the stage. Olga is a young critic from Copenhagen. She enters the stage, starts running in circles around Ivo, and finally kills him with a knife. Hilda comes back. Do you think he's dead? Ryan? Yes. Hilda. What a pity. Do you think he can do the after talk? Maybe not. Ivo stands up. Of course I can do the after talk. Olga starts the after talk. Hello. My name is Olga Lutzi. I'm a young critic from Copenhagen, and I'm very happy to have the opportunity to host this after talk to Ivo. First, I would like to thank you, Mr. Dimchev, for your performance tonight. The only problem is that I found the structure of your performance very superficial. That's why I came on stage and stabbed you to death. Was this disturbing for you? Ivo. Yes, it was very disturbing. First, I didn't expect to die on stage in Copenhagen, and second, your critical intervention didn't manage to propose us anything new, anything better. It was just a waste of our time, energy, my efforts, and my life as a human. I hate Copenhagen. Olga. But you agree that some performative structures have to be destroyed and reinvented. I think by killing you, I did reinvent both the form and the content of your piece. I believe that the performance should not be controlled by the artist, but by the performance itself. Ivo, but you are not the performance. You are Olga Lutzi, a young critic from Copenhagen and a murderer. The performance is something different. It's a function of the artist, but also the artist is a function of the performance. They are one inseparable unity. Olga Dimchev, are you able to stop thinking of yourself as an artist? Ivo, I'm not thinking of myself as an artist, always. Olga, how do you think of yourself? Very often, Ivo, very often I think of myself as a freak. Olga, you know, maybe it's better to start thinking of yourself as nothing. Ivo, maybe you're right. Nothing is the best. 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 Start singing. Nothing is the best. Olga, tries to kiss Ivo in the mouth. Ivo is pushing her away. What are you doing, Olga? What's going on, Olga? Are you gay? No, can I kiss you? I'm like, no, you cannot kiss me. Why not? Because I'm gay. Then she spits on Ivo. Olga spits on Ivo's face. Ivo, why is this a problem for you? Olga, I like you. I want to have your baby. Ivo, I'm sorry, I cannot help you with that. Olga starts crying. Ivo takes a small bottle out of his pocket and gives it to Olga and says, maybe you can use this. Olga takes the small bottle. What is this? It looks like sperm. Is this your sperm? Ivo, I don't know. Maybe. I found it in my pocket. Olga, what do I have to do with that? Ivo, you can pour it inside your vagina and maybe you can get pregnant. Olga, are you sure it's going to work? Ivo, don't know. We can try at least. Olga, sitting on the chair, takes her pants off, underwear off, and tries to pour the little bottle in her vagina. But it's falling out, Ivo. Maybe you have to turn upside down, and then it's not gonna fall out. Olga, she turns upside down on the chair, with her pelvis and legs in the air, and starts pouring the sperm inside her vagina. How long do I have to stay like that, Ivo? Maybe not so long, but you better stay for a while. Olga, can I ask you another question? Yes. Olga, earlier this evening you said that you are afraid of the future. Now, since you are dead, are you still afraid of the future? Ivo, every fear is based on future, and every future is based on fear. If one of them is not here, the other one will disappear. Now, do you mind if I go? Olga, it's okay. You can go. Thank you for coming to Copenhagen. Hilda, thank you for coming to our festival. Ivo, my pleasure. And lays on the floor again dead, and Ryan pulls his dead body out of the stage. That's it. The play Fest, which I wrote 2013, and we are still presenting it and performing it here and there. So why I decided to read this play, because it's very clear comments, I think, on the theatricality are the relationships, probably any professional relationships, because I'm experiencing only the relationships in the context of dance and performance for my work. That's why I thought it would be nice to kind of fantasize on this relationship and explore them in a very conventional theatrical way. Also, why I made this piece was because I kind of missed. I had this. It's a dialogue, you know. It's a very. So I just wanted to come back to this kind of romantic feeling of what like traditional theater is. I mean, in the pure conventional dialogic form and the characters. And that's why I thought it's appropriate to talk about it. Theatricality, what means exactly? I mean, this is one way of looking at theatricality. You can just make any professional relationships in any professional context, and you can turn them into a very conventional theater play and try to fantasize of what can happen possibly, and kind of disturb and subvert the convention. What else? Do you have any questions about this particular text? Does anybody has a particular a question about it? Something which is not clear or anything about? Any question? No? Was it clear? You understood the whole text?
Не слышно, к сожалению, без микрофона. Надо вопрос задавать в микрофон.
With me personally, there is nothing in this play that has ever happened in real life.
Нет реального.
There is no fantasy without original
Не бывает никаких фантазий без оригинала достоверного. Это же не может быть плод вашей фантазии.
I never give a blowjob to any technician. I would love to, but it never happened.
Я бы, может быть, даже хотела, но такого никогда не было в моей жизни.
You know, it can be a metaphor of your relationship with someone when, for example, with a critic.
Например, с критиком.
At first you got stabbed by the critic itself, and after she told that she won a baby of yours. So she just wanted to lick your ass after. And this looks quite realistic.
Is it?
Как-то очень реалистично выглядит и звучит. Да?
The critic kills you and wants to have a baby after.
Да, а потом хочет
от убитого ребенка.
Ну, сначала критикует,
But where is the licking? I don't understand.
Не поняла, где облизывают, что облизывают.
No, but she didn't do this.
Не, но она же этого не делала.
She just killed me and then she criticized me that my show is superficial. She didn't say anything good about my show.
Yeah, obviously, but why she wanted a baby?
Не сказала. Ну, понятно, почему хотела.
Why do you think she wanted to have a baby?
Почему же ей захотелось от вас ребенка, если так все поверхностно? Я думаю, что, может быть, хотелось какую-то малую копию вас иметь. Что-то ей понравилось. Вас.
I guess.
I think the idea with the baby was because, of course, it was necessary for me that she comes and kills me first, because she disagreed with what I'm doing. But later, I mean, I thought about the baby more as a metaphor of her critic, because she disagrees, she kills me, whatever. It's also kind of a metaphor. But I thought about the baby as the work, it's her, what she gives birth at the end. So of course she gets pregnant by criticizing me and by articulating her critique, but she didn't have to write anything. She just had a conversation. Any other comments or questions about the play?
More a comment than a question. I loved it. Can it be read online somewhere or purchased? Just
Thank you. I can just send you the text
Могу прислать вам текст.
if you want, if you
I
like.
do.
Да, пожалуйста.
It's no problem. It's on the paper it's only in this book, but I just have one copy.
В тексте это написано такое.
But I think, and also
у
it's
меня такой экземпляр.
in the books it's mixed up with some images, so that was also for me hard to read it because it just I designed it in a weird way. It just goes. You see, this is the images from the play. This is the moment when the sucking is happening. You see, and she's complaining about the artists. This is the. Yeah, this is the blow job. This is the first scene when I'm fingering the programmer. And this is the last scene about with the critic when she's trying to pour the sperm in her vagina, but it's falling out, and then she tries upside down, and then it's fine, it works. And that's it. Yeah, of course. If you write me on Facebook or whatever, I can send you the text.
Great book design, actually. Great book design.
Thank you. It took me 1 year to do it, but it was really nice to translate my shows into an object of paper and images and colors. It was a lot of fun. What else? I mean, theatricality. We have to talk about this fucking theatricality. We can talk about something else if you want. I don't mind. Does theatricality for me? It means complexity. Why? Because I mean, theater itself. I think dance needs theater. I'm not sure about the theater needs dance, definitely, but I think dance needs more theater than the opposite. The body language only is not, and physicality itself, I don't think is complex enough by itself. You need to be probably an extreme master that you can present such a diverse and complex dramaturgical and dynamic and development of your movements and your movement vocabulary that it can compensate for the lack of all other means that theater operates usually with. So in a kind of a very traditionally thinking or very conservative, probably I'm very quite conservative, I think that theater brings a complexity, and which I think is important for dance, and dance sometimes uses this complexity for itself. So dancers sometimes they speak, and it's quite helpful for them. What else? It's hard for me to give a lot of respect to dance itself. I do use movements in my work, and I do use choreographic. And I do have a particular choreographic vocabulary that I'm exploring or referring to. But it's hard for me to give up the frame of stage itself, the building of the theater. I mean, I'm okay being in places like this, museums, galleries, site-specific spaces, but I love theater. You know, I love the context and the history of it. I mean, that's the building itself and the frame of the theater has a history, which I think is something that you always have to deal with. I think Сегал was the person who says that stages and theaters are exhausted anymore, so we need other places. I don't believe this. Actually, I think the stages just because of this, of the history of theater has itself, and the luggage it has on its shoulders, and the people who have worked and invested a lot in development of theater in any sense, musical direction or in a dramaturgical direction or visual. I mean, all this luggage is there, and so you have to deal with it. I mean, you have to be strong enough that you can be there and be strong all the time, being in relation with all this history. So it makes people who are not prepared enough or don't have enough, I don't know, not have enough strong statements and significant statements, makes them very vulnerable in such wide requiring places and spaces as what theater stage is. So I think it's a little bit that I don't think it's exhausted. I think it's a dangerous place for people who are not prepared enough to be there or have nothing really new to say there. Because you have to, if you're on stage, you have to know exactly what you're doing. Because the whole focus of the audience is there, in what you're doing. In the galleries, in the gallery context, I find people can easily hide behind time and behind the context, the visual context, which does not require necessarily the focus of the audience to be in one particular place, one particular point. So as if the audience feels more free in a visual art context and has freedom. But in theater is not like that. In theater the focus is on the stage usually, and it's your responsibility what you do with this focus. And it's important what you do with the relation between your statement and the frame you are in, because this frame is very strong. It's very demanding. This frame. And I think if you're not prepared enough, if you have nothing to say, you can easily bore people, you can easily make people just reject your proposition. And it makes you very vulnerable as an artist. So for people who are not prepared in such kind of hardcore conditions as stages, I think it's a good escape to go in the visual art context, where the touristic kind of mode of being free and explore for yourself and have your own dynamic of what you see and what you don't see, what you follow, what you don't follow, be there or not be there. These places are comfortable for such artists. And there are of course many other aspects of such a decision to exclude theater stage from being a platform of your work.
Исключить театральную сцену как платформу вашей работы.
Any other questions?
Пожалуйста, вопросы, может быть, еще будут.
Oh, probably me again.
Ну, давайте я снова, наверное.
You know that the performance is considered to be a part of the visual art, so that's why it's played at the museums, that it's played at the theater performance is considered to be performative art, but the artistic performance is not. But for the spectator, the medium is practically the same. The person impersonates something. Where is that subtle borderline from the spectator's point of view? What do you think?
С точки зрения зрителей, как вы считаете?
I think it doesn't really matter what's the building and how the building is called. What matters is how you organize the relationship with the audience. In the moment we organize in this way, it's theater, because you are sitting, you have a very stable position as a viewer, and we have a time frame of 2 hours or 1 hour that we have to communicate with each other somehow, and I have to share something with you. And it's me who decides if I open this to you or not. So it's kind of, we're not so far from the context of theater. This is the stage and this is the audience. Visual art, I mean, the visual format usually is different. So we can always make the theater into a gallery, a museum, and we can always make the museum into a theater. This is just a choice that the artist usually makes, or the creator makes those kind of choices. So the difference is in I think usually the difference is, do you take responsibility for the focus of the audience, or you don't take responsibility in time and space? Because it's just about taking responsibility and just taking yourself what's important to you. Do I have something that I care about so much that I want to share it with you in a very particular way? Not in the way you probably is comfortable for you probably, or it's defined by your mood today, or it's defined by if you are in a hurry or not, or if you're tired or not. So if I'm independent from those conditions and I have something to say, I have a composition to share with you, a statement which lasts in time and space, and has a particular trajectory that I have composed specially, and I really want you to experience it in its full range and its full capacity, then I have to organize your focus. I have to take care of your focus. Probably I have to limit your choices. So theater and just putting yourself in a chair already, it's a choice that I'm making, that I want you to look here and not there. And I want you to be comfortable because I have a lot to say that you have to deal with. But I have nothing to say. If I just want to do this, probably I don't need so much. I cannot require from you so much attention. So maybe I'll give you more freedom, and I will not give you a chair. So I will be just in that corner doing this, because I just am aware that this proposition is quite poor, and it does not require so much effort. But if I require more effort, because I have taken care of something more complex as a proposition, which has a lot of layers, of course I need you to get all this complexity. And if I want to get it, I have to organize your focus, I have to navigate here. And it cannot happen if I just leave you just walk around, and me being in the corner, doing my kind of complex proposition. So in this sense, it's very important. I think it's important what you have come up with, what's your statement, and how you want these statements to be assimilated to be consumed by the senses of the spectator. This will define the construction of our relationship in time and space. But the building itself, it's a museum or it's a theater, it doesn't really matter. Because you can always transform it.
Then what can inspire you to make a performance?
Что может вас вдохновить на перформанс? Если я свободна и свободна столько, что могу вас проигнорировать, что тогда вас лично вдохновляет? Почему вы выбираете перформанс, а не театр произведения? Есть, кстати, об этом перформанс такой. В этом году сделали впервые.
but it's an improvisation.
Это импровизация.
It's called Avoiding Till I Fat. I just did it in Mumok Museum in Vienna.
Сделали его в Вене, в музее.
I did it first so it's kind of a workaholic meditation, I call it.
Такая, знаете, медитация трудоголика, так я это назвал.
It's kind of a laboratory that I create for myself.
Которую я создал сам для себя.
I do everything that I love doing.
Я делаю все, что я
So I
люблю делать.
teach.
Я преподаю.
In Brussels, I did it for 16 hours per day, and now in Vienna, in Mumok, I did it for 8 hours per day. So 1 hour I teach, give a workshop, a training. 1 hour I write poetry. 1 hour I paint foreign paintings. 1 hour I compose a new song. 1 hour I have an improvisation concert with a local musician. 1 hour I shoot a music video. 1 hour I give a physically challenging interview. Like physically challenging interviews, like I'm giving interviews like we are doing now, but I do a physically challenged activity at the same time. Like I'm torturing my way, or I'm upside down, or I do sit-ups all the time for 1 hour, and I'm answering the questions. So I do things that I like doing. I have not invested anything before. It's an improvisation. I'm just digging and trying and looking for new material. So I do this to expand my vocabulary. I do this to fail. But I do this in front of all publicly. So I write songs and it's very private. I never wrote songs before in front of people, always private. So now I'm used to it, so I can write songs. I can just write songs now. You can watch me, it's okay for me. Painting for me was a very private thing before because I do paintings. But now I can just do paintings in front of all this, it's fine. So it's kind of I'm forcing myself to work really hard all the time, non-stop. I don't have a break, for example, to drink or to talk or to check my messages. No, I'm working all the time. And the audience is free to look at me, to watch me or not. And their tickets are valid for the whole day. They can come in and come out. They can come for the painting. Then they can come later for the concert. Because the first it's always 2 sequences a day. So I do 8 hours the first sequence and then I start immediately the second sequence. So in Brussels I did 16 hours per day all the time with no stop. And in Vienna I did again 2 sequences, but each activity was half an hour. So I half an hour teach, half an hour write, half an hour sing, half an hour paint, half an hour shoot music video, half an hour give an interview. And it lasts for 2 sequences. One sequence is 4 hours, 2 sequences 8 hours. So in this sense, I'm doing this a lot for myself. I want to expand my vocabulary, I want to write new songs, I want to subvert my practice somehow. So I would take a lot of risks all the time. So I would do things that I would never probably do on stage. And I do a lot of things that I would never do on stage. It becomes a giant mess. But I'm working all the time. I'm busy with finding new things, finding new weird relationships, and playing piano and painting at the same time, or writing poetry, improvising. So I fuck up the whole. For example, if I have to, for example, write a song at the same time, I probably do something else while writing a song. So I kind of fuck up all my ways and patterns of writing songs. I fuck up my patterns or safe ways of singing or improvising or painting or shooting music videos or interviewing or giving interviews. So I do a lot to kind of to subvert, betray myself and my way of working, and probably by this I believe I expand my vocabulary, I expand my courage, and I have less fear because people are watching me all the time and I'm all the time failing probably and I do stupid things and it becomes okay for me to fail in front of audience. So it just helped me, but just because I haven't invested so much in composition and in structure, so I had nothing really to propose super precious. So I, of course, then I leave people to decide whatever they want to do with their time and what they want to focus, they want to stay or not. So you see, I do something which is important for me, but I know that it's probably not so important for them. So in this sense, I would not limit them in time and space. They can watch me from here or from there or from everywhere. They can watch me 5 minutes. They can watch me 5 hours. It's their decision. So for now, this is happening only in visual art context. It happened in gallery in Brussels. It happened in Mumok Museum in Vienna. I wish I can do it on stage, because I think it's gonna be different. I'm probably gonna be. I think being on stage makes it much more demanding for me, myself. I think I have to take care much more about my dynamics, the volumes of the elements, the clarity. So I'm curious how changing the frame from visual art, from a museum or a gallery to a stage, how this would affect my workaholic meditation and my laboratory. But it didn't happen yet, so I'll see, and then I can say which one I prefer. I definitely feel already quite comfortable doing it in a museum or a gallery. Yeah, and I see that I use a lot of the vocabulary of visual art. So there's a lot of paint on me and a lot of transformation. It's very visual what is happening. I have a lot of pictures, a lot of images. So everything is extremely visual, and I see that the visuality and the image becomes so important in the visual art context. I don't know if it's going to be like this when I go on stage. Maybe there the dramaturgy will push more, and you'll kind of have the need to be more stronger and more dominating and more stable and more articulated and clear. I'll see, I'm just curious. It didn't happen, but it was inspiring, definitely. It was inspiring to put all interests that I have in one place, and it was the visual art context.
But at the same time, were you aware that you are competing with other visual art objects in the same museum or the same gallery?
It was nothing else. The place I was performing, there was nothing else. So I was not in relation to other pieces of art.
Like in general, people who are coming to Mumok are free to watch you or to see the paintings in the exhibition.
Yeah, but I was in a separate building. I was in Hofstadt. It's a different entrance. So it's a giant hall, which is a different entrance from Mumok. For sure. Yeah. Then I don't know how it's gonna be if we have to mess up with other. Because I had a lot of paintings all over and sculptures of myself in the whole space. I don't know. I think I would not be very happy if I have to mess up with what's already there. And if it happens, for sure it will reflect on what I'm doing. Definitely. Yes.
Do you allow kind of physical participation when you work in galleries or museum spaces? Because, for example, in the Сегал exhibition, I had a very interesting moment. In the very last hall, there was a girl lying on the floor, and unlike the other
в
rooms,
самом
the
первом
space
зале,
is very tight.
и в
You
отличие от
kind of
других
have to
залов,
be close
там
to
зал
her.
очень невелик, и
And I was
пространство
with
очень
my
маленькое, вам
friends, and we
приходится быть
just
все время рядом
started
с
to
ней,
get
или с друзьями,
just a little
и
bit
мы решили
closer.
просто чуть поближе подойти.
And well, by the way the girl reacted,
Девушка,
I
кстати,
realized that it
отреагировала,
was considered as
и я поняла,
invasion.
что это уже
And
считалось
that
как
is why, well,
вторжением.
I'm very much interested
Меня очень интересует,
in the way how, if a performer can actually have some kind of private space, and
артист
is it,
перформанса
can you, I don't know, can you
выступает,
manage
может
it,
ли он иметь
and do you
какое-то
allow
частное
people, I
личное
don't know, to
пространство, и
touch
можно ли
you,
им как-то
or
управлять,
to
позволять ли
somehow
ему к вам
interact
прикасаться
with you,
людям, или
and
как-то
do
с вами
you
взаимодействовать.
often
И
face aggression
часто
from
вы сталкиваетесь
spectators?
с
Because
агрессией
as far as I
зрителей,
know, that
потому что,
here
насколько я
during
знаю,
this exhibition
здесь
there
вот
are
на
some
этой
cases
выставке
of
были
quite aggressive
случаи
behavior
достаточно
towards the performance,
агрессивных
because people
проявлений к
do not quite
интерпретаторам,
understand what
потому
performance
что, в
is,
общем,
and
тут
that
не
is
особо
why they kind
понимают,
of try
в чем суть
to,
перформанса, и поэтому стараются
somehow
как-то вас, в общем-то,
understand it, but
понять,
not,
что ли.
I mean, not in a very friendly way, but
но
in
не
quite
самым
an aggressive way.
дружелюбным образом, в общем,
Do
достаточно
you, I
агрессивно.
mean, do you have some
Бывает
examples of that, and how do you deal with that?
примеры таких
Yeah,
вторжений, как вы с ними
usually I perform on
работаете?
stage.
Обычно я выступаю на
Usually.
сцене,
I
обычно.
very rarely, I mean, perform in visual
Я
art
выступаю
context.
в контексте
So when I'm
визуального
on
искусства.
stage, I'm quite
Когда
sane.
я на сцене, я, в общем, в
But
безопасности в достаточной
I have
степени.
performances which are quite interactive.
У меня есть довольно интерактивные перформансы.
Dramaturgically interactive. So people, for example, in the audience, they write my text
Например, в аудитории
of
люди
the songs
записывают
I
мои
sing,
тексты,
or
тексты песен, которые я
they
пою.
write
Они
the text I'm saying in Facebook. I have a show which is called
которые я
Project,
произношу.
where people
В
write
Фейсбуке
poetry on
есть
2 computers, and I receive it on
который
an iPad,
называется
on my keyboard, and I make
пишу
songs out of it. So
стихи
people
на
can write whatever they
компьютере,
want. There are people from the
это
audience
люди
coming on
делают это
stage which are
например,
paid,
люди из
and
аудитории
they
могут
do
выходить на
actions.
сцену и, собственно, выступать
People have never been
перед
aggressive to me.
аудиторией,
People do come and touch me, for example, or give me a massage or something. But it's kind of organized in a way that I never experienced aggression. In the gallery, I didn't experience this neither. But I don't think I have a problem with people coming close to me and entering and because they want to interact with me somehow. I think if they want to interact with me, I will interact with them, and I will use this, and I will add it to the composition and start to deal with it and take care of it as an artist, not as a victim, which is two different things. But I would definitely expect. I mean, the first time I performed Lili Handel, for example, this is my first show, solo performance 2004. It was interactive in a way that because I was auctioning my blood. There was in the last scene of the show, I'm taking my blood out of my vein and putting a small bottle, and I auction it to the audience because the whole show is about the body as the performative body as a piece of art. So if the body is a piece of art, then the blood of the performative body is also a piece of art, and then it has to be treated as a piece of art and can be auctioned, and people pay whatever money they want about it. So it was the only interactivity that I entered in this show. But in the beginning of the show, there was a spectator from the first row who started to insult me because he couldn't bear the way I looked like, because it was quite probably insane for him the way I looked like. I look like this picture. And he was very aggressive. And I don't know if you can see there. I'm almost naked with high heels. Like I look like a monster, drag queen, alien. It's not very clear. And he starts to insult me and call me like disgusting faggot or something like this. And he was shouting really loud. But I didn't understand what he's saying. I knew that it's an insult, but I just incorporated these words of whatever I hear in my speech. So during the whole show I was using it. Usually I'm happy when I'm surprised, when my composition, because usually my composition is very stable most of the time. In many of my works, the composition is very stable. It's very fixed, choreographically, dynamically, dramaturgically, and I have to do it because I tour a lot, so I have to do this all the time, and it all the time has to be exciting for me. And sometimes it's not, because it's just the same thing. And I'm very happy when things go wrong. For example, something doesn't work, or something happens, something breaks, or somebody from the audience decides to, I don't know, be aggressive, or enters, starts to becomes aggressive and starts talking to me, and I have to enter this communication. So for me, this is always a welcome thing because it challenges me as an artist, and it kind of breaks the structure. And usually it opens up possibilities for something new to happen. It opens possibilities for me to discover to go to another place. So usually those kind of situations are very welcome. But of course it depends on the situation, because if they're aggressive to me, I can be also aggressive to them. It depends in which mood I'm in the moment. If I'm really like a constructive mood and I'm curious in this proposition, because I take it as a proposition from the audience. Like if somebody enters my private space, sound-wise, or with words, or just physically, I take it as a proposition for something new. But if I see that it's a destructive statement, if this person just wants, he doesn't care about me, he doesn't care about my proposition, and then I can become very aggressive myself, and I'm in a stronger position because I'm louder and the audience usually see it to my side. So usually there were a few times when I just take the person and take him out of the theater. I don't know, sometimes you can play with it, but sometimes it's just to be equally rude. Because if people are just like not very careful and they just want to they think they're funny or they want to be brave and interact with you, I can sense that it's a playful interaction. And when somebody's really invasive and deconstructive and stupid, then it's like becomes an elephant in a jewelry shop, something like this. You have to take care of the jewelry. There's no way out. But if I'm in a visual art situation, if I'm doing something in a place like this, and I give my body and I objectify my body and make it into a piece of art somewhere here, open and vulnerable, then I would not be for sure aggressive to people coming to me, because I'm already there. So I'm already on their way. So why should I pretend that this is sacred here around me?
Притворяться, что здесь вокруг меня есть в чем-то какая-то сакральность.
Hi.
Пожалуйста,
What makes me unhappy?
Что вас расстраивает? От чего возникает у вас ощущение несчастливости? Когда секса не хватает? У меня секса не было уже сегодня пятница, нет, четверг сегодня, да, четверг. Когда, подождите? Четверг сегодня, да, ведь?
I haven't had sex since I'm in Moscow.
Не было с того момента, когда я приехал в Москву. Это меня прямо очень расстраивает, печалит.
What I hate to do.
Есть что-то, что вы ненавидите делать?
Clean.
Убираться.
I hate cleaning.
Вот ненавижу уборку.
I hate cleaning. But that's why I have a cleaning person.
есть специальный человек, который приходит и убирает. Я очень люблю уборку. Я люблю бардак разводить. Бардак я, кстати, быстро могу развести. Очень быстро. За буквально 2 секунды готово. И уже полный бардак. А уборку не люблю.
This is what makes me very unhappy.
Это меня прям действительно печалит.
But in everything else, I can
несчастье создает любая уборка.
Joy.
А во всем остальном я могу найти радость, мне кажется, кроме уборки.
And being late. Also,
Но
this really
опаздывать,
makes
еще
me happy.
опаздывать
If
не
I'm
люблю.
late
Это меня
for
просто очень
appointment,
расстраивает. Если я опаздываю на встречу,
this makes me very unhappy.
это
I
просто
like to be
страшное
always
для
on
меня
time.
несчастье. Я люблю, когда я прихожу
Very
ровно
disappointed in
вовремя.
myself.
Я страшно расстраиваюсь
If I'm
и
too
сам
late.
себя очень разочаровываю, если я опаздываю.
What? If they are late,
А любовники,
I
если
hate
они
them a
другие
little bit,
опаздывают,
but
я
I forgive
как-то
very
так
fast.
немножечко,
So
что ли, ненавижу какое-то время, а
I
потом
like
очень быстро
so
прощаю.
professional. So
Я
professional.
познаю, что это очень непрофессионально опаздывать.
I think we can probably finish here
Ну что,
because
может, на
it's
этом
already
закончим?
like 2
Потому что уже
hours.
вроде как 2 часа мы тут
And it was
разговариваем.
supposed to be a talk with Dragana, and she kind of
Кстати, мы
gave
планировали
up.
эту беседу с Драгоной, и
And
она...
so I was supposed to
свое
have only
участие
1 hour
отменила.
talk.
Я, собственно, должен был выступать
And now
всего
it's
час.
already like 1 hour
А
and
тут уже, я
40
смотрю,
minutes.
час прошел, да уже час 40.
No, it's a lie. I started later. Sorry, I was late.
Позже, да,
I was
извините, я,
15
собственно,
minutes
опоздал, на
later.
15
It's
минут
not my
опоздал, да?
fault.
Ну, это, кстати,
It's
вообще
the
не я
traffic.
виноват. Пробки.
I'm not responsible for the traffic
Я правда не отвечаю за ваши пробки.
and for the Uber.
И за Uber я тоже не отвечаю.
But it's okay. If you have some really
Ну,
important
если есть
question to
какие-то
ask
важные
me,
вопросы, задавайте.
then
Если что-то действительно важное,
it's
отвечу.
okay. Do you know that I have a concert later?
Вы знаете, у меня концерт?
Are you coming?
Вы придете?
Okay.
Позже.
It's I think 10 o'clock. I don't know what time it is.
Я не знаю, сколько сейчас? 8?
10 o'clock.
Сколько? 10? В 10 концерт.
Yeah, do you know where it is? It's
знаете,
Club
где?
3-4. Yeah, 3-4.
3, 4, 3 четверти, наверное, называется.
Can I go now? Thank you.